management of mankind's affairs, it's always going to be
innate.
there.
It's gotta be, I mean, even if you don't want it, someone's going to take it.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah. So why are we not using the Quran to actually, politicize and, combine and make sure the structures are morally correct and justifiable under the Sira? This is what Umar al-Khattab did. Umar al-Khattab raised a lot of alarm. If you read the Sira in his last days, Umar al-Khattab, to me, is the last, glimmer of the real system, because the last days of Umar al-Khattab, he's keep on warning, and Huzaifa bin Jaman, when he talks about the death of Umar al-Khattab, he says that the door will be broken, not opened. Okay, and this actually shows that we're going to break the system in the last, the way we're going to actually deal with the last, the way we're going to interrupt the reign of Umar al-Khattab. That's human behavior. That's human psychology. So we need to be really clear as to how to create a structure and maintain it. These are the two things. Now, I can quote case studies of Muslims and non-Muslims who created structures from these four pillars. Actually, they created it with less than four pillars, from the Greeks to the Romans to the Persians to the Muslims, and in the recent few hundred years of worth of history. But unless you have these four pillars, you're not going to be able to maintain it. Now, right now, what I see is guys your age, girls your age, they can understand what I'm saying.
Often we're the same age.
Yeah, I'm talking about in the 20s. I'm assuming you're in your 20s. Right
20s? I'm 35.
Awesome. So, okay, well, you carry yourself really well then. So what I'm saying is, boys and girls in their teens and 20s, they need to be trained into the fact that unless you're in the power, you're not a good Muslim, sorry. See, now that's the change in definition. Because the definition is literally against this statement for the last few hundred years. Mm-hmm. And I personally believe that it started with Yazid bin Muawiyah. I personally believe that. Because the definition that they're actually pumping into our blood of what is khuruj and what is not, Hussein al-Islam doesn't even apply. It doesn't even apply on Hussein al-Islam. According to their definition, current definition, Hussein al-Islam becomes a khariji, na'udhu billah. You know what I'm saying? So this is something which is against the very essence of Islam. Umar al-Khattab, why do you think I keep quoting Umar al-Khattab to everywhere I go? Because he represents dominance. He represents the political might of Islam. He represents a philosophy that you need to keep the power to make sure you can herd the whole ummah under the rule of Allah.
Let me just quickly come in there, because one of the biggest criticisms internally amongst some who see themselves as traditionalists would say that this whole revivalist struggle, irrespective of what group, what maslak, what movement, doesn't matter, but this kind of ummatic desire to come into power and politics and have your own state and all this stuff, this is actually a post-colonial mindset where we are actually reflecting that of the colonized. I'm telling you, there's some I
understand. Yeah, I get that.
While al-Halak and many of these others have been cited by saying, look, there's no such thing as an Islamic state. You might get, and you're really talking about an Islamic nation state. You have tradition like Hamza Yusuf and many others who have said that, look, this whole thing about power, you've misunderstood it. Allah will give you power. It's a means, it's not the end. Yeah? Meaning it's not the end goal. If Allah gives you,
the tazkiyah, power is going to come to you. That's what they believe in.
Yeah, but so the whole kind of, once you're ready for it, Allah will give it, but it's not the sole objective.
They don't understand the human behavior then. I'll tell you the two hadiths. We know the whole Sira and how, from Abu Bakr Siddiq to Ali bin Abi Talib, the whole, system was carried forth. And then we ruined the hell out of the system. After Ali bin Abi Talib, we know what happened, and
to kingship and family.
No, it's not about the order of management. It's about the plight of the people. Okay. Now this is going to happen again. See, the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us psychology. We're just not reading into it. When Isa ibn Maryam is going to come in, he's going to reign the planet literally through his kingdom.
4 years.
Okay, his kingdom. Okay, it's monarchy, and after 40 years of the departure, of the real death of Isa ibn Maryam, people are going to go into so much of a chaos, then Allah is going to lift the Quran. It's like, no more for this. No more for this, human being are not worthy of this. And then the Day of Judgment is going to come. The Day of Judgment cannot come even if there is a single Muslim on the planet. That means even after the kingdom of Isa ibn Maryam, and every single household will be Muslim.
Yep.
People are still going to go out of Islam, so much so that no one is going to remain a Muslim. This is classic human psychology being taught by our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Understand how human beings behave. Now, what happens after the death of Isa ibn Maryam? The power goes to the regular folks. So if the power is with the right people, it is going to, bear the fruit. This is what happened to Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar Khattab and, Osman Ghani and Ali bin Abi Talib. The right people had power. We had the right sort of, structural, maintenance going on. So power is necessary. Tazkiyah is going to maintain the power. And you know what? I believe that Tazkiyah Nafs is the ultimate purpose, like Hamza Yusuf. But I believe that you need to make sure that everybody can do Tazkiyah. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're just going to do it for yourself. The politician's job is to make sure the system is Tazkiyah friendly for everybody. Every Muslim, because there is no compulsion to bring people into Islam. So the system has to be there, but the ease of Tazkiyah can only come from the system. For example, Scotland. Right now, I just came from Glasgow. I'm not just talking about Glasgow. Even Pakistan is a classic case study here. Okay, let's just take Pakistan first one, so that people will not think that I'm being biased. The classical Islamic laws cannot be practiced in Pakistan because the people in power do not understand Islam, even though they would want to. For example, the law of inheritance. You cannot inherit your property to your grandson. Okay? Mm-hmm. You have to inherit to your son. But in Pakistan, you have to, if your son is dead. Mm-hmm. Okay? Where is this sense coming from? This sense is coming directly from Scandinavia. This sense is defined on paper in a legislation. Okay? And so on and so forth. I'm just giving you an example. Scotland, the RME, you have to include all. I was coming from Glasgow and there was a prayer room on the airport. And I was like, awesome, man. And I went to the prayer room, there's a prayer mat. And then there's this big murti right there.
The multi-faith room.
Yeah, I know. And it's not just that prayer room in the airport. It's the schools in Scotland. Okay, who's calling the shots in that? Hamza Yusuf, the other Hamza Yusuf? Ironic that, we're talking about Hamza
Yusuf.
Yeah. No, Hamza Yusuf is not calling the shots in this. He's a poor puppet of the system. The power structures are coming from somewhere else. And you'll be amazed as to how some countries and some people in those countries are calling those power structures, energizing the power structure, maintaining it, per se. Because they didn't come up with it. A lot of people come together. It's more of a deep state concept of where the power actually is, conceptualized. But they're maintained by people like these.
Do you accept that there is a deep state in Pakistan and many other Muslim states?
I think if there is a deep state, which there is, then Pakistan is one of the many that they better be affecting Pakistan. Otherwise, it's not deep enough.
Okay, but is a deep state necessary for survival?
Well, it had to be because, this is why I believe that our Islamic system has to be established. There is no other solution. There is no antimatter for this deep state matter. Okay? There has, because Islamic system is the only system that goes from top down and bottom up at every single element. The audit is for every single element in the system, from people to processes. Deep state is the only thing that you cannot audit because there is no one man that you can audit. Okay? There's no one group of people. There's no one country. There's no one law. There's so much going on that even if you take out a few, they're going to be a lot more than just, so you cannot just, pick out one.
It's a machine.
The machine is an oversimplified way of saying it, because we all know it's a very fluid concept. Islam, the system of Islam, the political installation and the understanding of how human beings behave coming together is the only antidote for this deep state concept. And you think, I don't know what's going to happen even if we do establish the Islamic system in any one of these countries or the world. All hell is going to break loose, because we're actually poking the bear right now, right there, right on the face, actually. So
can you see this happening without little to no bloodshed, Saeed Bhai? Because there could be.
No, there will be blood. There will be blood. And you know what? I've got a book backing it up, because if there is blood, I know what to do about this.
What's the book?
The Quran. There's the only book with enough aggression, assertiveness, and absolutely no inferiority complex of the reader. It is the Ahkami book. It is not a book with pleas, no requests. We need a book which commands. There is